How did you test positive?
Corruption at its finest. They couldn't take the loss. What's up, man? I know y'all see you. I don't want to touch that. I don't know what you're doing with your hands, buddy. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to look past Broly. Hey, that Austrian don't help you block a left hook. Now, what you probably did set up, we know you did that. Where's your little brother? Is your brother in the house? Because your brother knew before everybody else, and you don't answer that question.
My little brother right there.
Okay, so how do you know before everybody else? You know, corruption at its finest. Corruption at its finest. They couldn't take the loss. What's up, man? I know y'all see you.
Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney might not be officially scheduled to fight each other right now, but that hasn't stopped them from trading shots. Verbal ones. At least the tension between the two erupted during a recent press conference promoting the May 2nd fight card, while Garcia is set to fight Romero and Haney is booked against Jose Ramirez. The real entertainment was in the war of words between the two former opponents.
Straight away when you came back.
Of course, that's the big fight is Ryan Garcia, but I cannot look past Jose Ramirez. I know that he's a tough competitor. I know that he's coming.
Garcia, as usual, made sure to stir things up first. Instead of focusing on Romero, his actual opponent, he quickly shifted the conversation toward Haney, making it clear that his real target wasn't in front of him just yet. "I'm really focused on just whooping Devin Haney again," Garcia said, already framing their last fight as a clear victory in his mind. "That's all I'm really worried about, not even to redeem myself, just to cement that Austrian, which you probably did set up." And just like that, Garcia dropped the bomb. In front of everyone, he flat out accused Haney of being behind the doping scandal that tainted their first fight in April 2024. Serious.
I told you you're gonna feel some fear, right? Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you you're gonna feel some fear you ain't felt? No.
That fight had initially gone down as a majority decision win for Garcia, but soon after, things got messy. The New York State Athletic Commission ruled the fight a no contest after Garcia tested positive for Austrian. As a result, he was suspended for a year, his $1 million purse was taken back, and he was slapped with a $10K fine. It wasn't just that he failed the test. Garcia had also come in 2 pounds over the 140-pound limit, making him ineligible to win Haney's WBC super lightweight title in the first place. Haney, who had walked into that fight with a perfect 31-0 record, saw the whole thing as a disgrace. But now Garcia was flipping the script and suggesting the failed test wasn't his fault at all. It was Haney's doing.
See how he can do with Devin's boxing.
And what about the rematch with Devin and Ryan?
We all want that. We all want Ryan to finish what he started. They try to take away his loss once, but he's going to make a different statement, so they can't take it away his next.
"We know you did that." Garcia fired off. "Where's your little brother? Is your brother in the house? Because your brother knew before everybody else, and you don't answer that question. How did he know before everybody else?" Corruption at its finest. They couldn't take the loss. Accusing Haney of somehow orchestrating the doping scandal was a new angle for Garcia, but it wasn't the first time he had denied using anything illegal. Back in May 2024, when his B sample also tested positive, Garcia had told ESPN, "I don't know where the adverse finding came from. Honestly, bro, I don't. I was taking ashwagandha, D3. Omega-3, just normal stuff. I don't know what Austrian is. I seriously have no idea. I would tell everybody the truth."
Pretty one-sided. There really shouldn't be a rematch, to be honest. I'm just doing it for Turkey. There really shouldn't be a rematch. It wasn't close. I beat him easy.
He had even insisted that if he had knowingly taken anything, he would have just admitted it. "My whole thing is I'd rather tell the truth than try to fabricate it with a lie because lies don't stand. So if I really did take it, I would be like, honestly, I was going through a weird situation. I wasn't really that confident. I chose to take it. I'm sorry. And that's it. But I didn't, and I hate cheating. All I can say is legal team. Help me figure this out." Haney, however, wasn't buying any of it then. and he sure as hell wasn't buying it now. As soon as Garcia threw out his accusation, Haney fired right back, smirking as he said, "You took your punishment because you knew you were guilty."
I know I didn't take steroids. It's not going to be much different. I mean, the crazy thing is they want to like keep on saying, oh, it's because of the PEDs. It's because of the PEDs. I was on fighting a guy with PEDs. PEDs don't help you block a left hook.
Garcia wasn't letting that be the last word. He brought up the most humiliating part of their fight for Haney, the knockdowns. That Austrian don't help you block a left hook, bro, Garcia snapped. You got hit like 1,000 times. You got dribbled off the canvas. You know nothing was taken. You know damn well. And then, in one of the most bizarre moments of the press conference, Garcia threw out a phrase that had everyone scratching their heads. Do not do substances? He had that in his back pocket the whole time. What that meant, exactly, nobody seemed to know, but Garcia was clearly trying to imply that Haney had been waiting to use the test against him from the start. Not in your thoughts on that.
Your thoughts on that?
Look, it's going to be a great card. All 3 fights are going to be unbelievable. New York, Times Square, can't wait. You know, Jose Ramirez, obviously coming off a loss, wants to go out there and prove the world that he's still there to.
Despite all the bad blood, the reality is that both Garcia and Haney have business to handle on May 2nd. They are heavy favorites in their respective fights against Romero and Ramirez. And if both come out victorious, there's no doubt the rematch will be the fight to make given all the accusations and hostility. This isn't just about titles anymore, it's personal. Their first fight had already been controversial, but the way things are shaping up, a second fight could be even messier. If Haney wins, he might feel like he has nothing to prove. He was the clean fighter after all, and Garcia had already been caught cheating once. But Garcia clearly sees it differently. In his mind, he beat Haney fair and square, and the whole doping scandal was nothing more than a setup to rob him of his biggest career win.
I'm going to say for Jesus Christ before anything. As far as Rose as my next opponent, you know, he was my first choice for sure.
He was or was not?
No, he wasn't. It was Pitbull Cruz, but, you know, things played out a different way. But
it's not just Devin Haney firing shots at Garcia, you know. Who could not be left out of this? Bill? Haney wasn't holding back. He made it clear he believed the rematch should be happening right now, not in October. He wasn't just frustrated. He was convinced that Team Garcia was stalling, delaying the inevitable, and that the only reason the rematch even got locked in was because he forced their hand. This is all BS, he said, looking more like a man fed up with games than a trainer excited about his son's next fight. He was the one who had to push the deal through, who had to sit across from Garcia and Oscar de la Hoya, making sure there were no more excuses. Everybody knows everyone wants to see the fight right now. He said I had to put the pen to paper and be very vocal to make the fight happen. They, Team Garcia, said the fans didn't want to see the fight when everyone wanted to see it.
Devin don't have no power.
Ultimately, what do you feel puts you over the line against Ryan in this fight?
I know him. Know him really well.
Garcia and his team weren't just hesitant. According to Bill Haney, they were ducking. And he wasn't afraid to say why. He believed Garcia's confidence wasn't real. It was manufactured, an act. A cover-up for what really happened in their first fight. We're not scared of him. He was scared last time, Bill Haney said. That's why he did it. He was scared to lose. It wasn't just talk, it was personal. The first fight ended in a mess, a no contest, a test failure, a lawsuit that got dropped only because the rematch was agreed upon. And now, with both fighters and their teams agreeing to beta testing, Bill Haney wanted to make sure history didn't repeat itself. We hope Ryan Garcia will keep it clean, keep his nose clean, and there will be a fair fight. It was no secret that Garcia's out-of-the-ring behavior had been under a microscope for months. Transcripts provided by Transcription Outsourcing, LLC. But because he wanted to, while Garcia sat on the sidelines, Haney was taking a break on his own terms, welcoming a child, reflecting, and preparing for his next move. I'm super excited, so determined to work again. I'm so excited to show what type of fighter I am again. He said people say about me.
You ducking it, huh? Lupe, you done ducked it, huh? Yeah, you done ducked it. Yeah, y'all done ducked it. Stay quiet.
He wasn't making excuses for his first performance against Garcia, but he wasn't running from the reality either. I made a lot of mistakes in that first fight, Haney admitted. I got away from it, had a baby, spent time with my family, and enjoyed my vacation. I feel great. Bill Haney backed his son completely. He wasn't just talking about getting revenge. He was talking about domination. He believed Garcia got lucky the first time, and that this time there would be no doubt. You don't become the youngest undisputed champion without being focused. He has focus, he said. Moving up to 140 was just a pit stop. Moving to 147, you're going to see a stronger, faster, more determined Devin Haney.
About me.
That's right.
I walked through the fire and still held it down and still beat Devin Haney and still drank every day and still beat him. And I did everything. Not what? Hey, what happened? False reality, right? Drank every single night, went out.
But the fans at the press conference didn't seem to care about that. They booed Devin Haney. They cheered for Garcia. Every time Haney spoke, they let him hear it. Bill Haney wasn't surprised. We know it's Southern California. We're from Oakland, Northern California, he said, almost brushing it off. We understand this is a great boxing community. Ryan Garcia is the hometown guy. Nevertheless, it's a great opportunity to gain some fans and gain some respect.
When you look at like Devin Haney's situation when he went to go sue Ryan Garcia, yeah. Okay, cool. So okay, all right.
Devin Haney, on the other hand, just laughed. He knew what was happening. He had officially become the villain. Maybe it was because of Garcia's huge social media following. Maybe it was because Garcia had convinced people the first fight was legit. Maybe it was just because people love an underdog and Haney wasn't one. He was the established champion, the one who always took boxing seriously while Garcia played the unpredictable superstar. Haney didn't care. He was more than comfortable with the hate. He knew what mattered most was what happened in the ring, not at a press conference full of Garcia fans.
I hope that this is what you guys wanted to do. In Circus Act, Devin is a real fighter, and you showed no respect up there. You showed no respect for what he's done for boxing. He's a 2-division champion and undisputed champion.
That's not kind of you to say.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you the truth.
Well, why are the fans booing him then?
Well, I mean, that's because a part of it. We are.
Then came the surprise. Before Haney left the downtown Mayan Theater, he crossed paths with Andrew and Tristan Tate. The two controversial internet personalities were in attendance, and they wasted no time making their presence known. As long as they're talking about you, it's all good, Andrew Tate told Haney. Almost as if he was passing down advice from one villain to another, Haney just smirked. Maybe he agreed, maybe he didn't. But one thing was clear. He wasn't running from the role the boxing world had given him. And if Ryan Garcia thought he could use the crowd's cheers to shake him, he was in for a long night when they finally stepped in the ring again. Ryan Garcia wasn't holding back. Every time he spoke about Devin Haney, the frustration was clear, the sarcasm was heavy, and the insults kept flying. He wasn't just talking about the rematch. He was mocking the lawsuit, the deposition, and everything Haney had done outside the ring. He made it sound like Haney was more focused on courtrooms than boxing gloves. I kept it classy for one reason. He's suing me, Garcia said, shaking his head as if he still couldn't believe it. I don't know what I could tell him. Everything I've said is now used against me. So I don't know what to say to them. At the end of the day, anything I say could be used against me. So what am I supposed to do, really? He wasn't just annoyed. He was genuinely irritated. It wasn't just about boxing anymore. Garcia felt like he was being dragged into a chess game, where Haney was playing lawyer instead of fighter. And he wasn't hiding his feelings about it.
I asked one question, is why would Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions receive $1 million in damages? What damages did they occur?
I just realized that he's that much of a bee, and maybe he'll sue me for saying that. Who knows? He might use that in the deposition, Garcia added with a laugh, his voice dripping with sarcasm. He used a lot of my tweets in the deposition. Everything I said, he used against me. This is the weak state of mind this man has. He's taking words, and he's using words against me in the court of law. I just want to beat him again, and that's it. The tension wasn't just lingering. It was alive and burning. When the two showed up for the second press conference for the Times Square card in Los Angeles, it didn't take long for things to escalate. When DAZN's Todd Grisham asked Garcia about his upcoming fight against Rolando "Rolly" Romero, Garcia barely even acknowledged Rolly as a real opponent. He wasn't looking at May 2nd as a challenge. He was looking past it, straight at Haney. That's all I'm really worried about. Just to not even redeem myself by or cement that Osterine, which you probably did set up. That Osterine doesn't help you block a left hook, bro. You got hit like 1,000 times.
People are going to wonder about the state of Devin Haney's chin after his fight with Ryan Garcia. Are you going to be able to test that chin?
Well, of course I'm going to test the chin. That's my job, you know. Even if it was 31-0 and 31 knockouts, my job is to test his chin.
Garcia leaned back in his chair, shaking his head like he was exhausted by the whole situation. The smirk on his face made it clear that he knew exactly what he was doing. Poking the bear, taunting Haney, making sure the rivalry stayed heated. Haney, though, didn't let it slide. His expression hardened the moment Garcia mentioned Osterine. He had heard enough excuses, enough justifications. To him, Garcia was guilty, plain and simple. How did you test positive? Haney shot back, his voice cold and serious. You took your punishment because you knew you were guilty. Garcia laughed, but his frustration was real. He had spent months trying to shake the stain of the failed test, arguing that the Osterine was never intentional, that it didn't help him in the ring, and that the victory should have still counted. But Haney wasn't letting him escape that easily.
He'd be able to slip the hook. Like, he could be able to go ahead and...
So you're not buying the PED stuff? You think that was a legit?
Come on, bro. I think he use something to lose weight.
Well, do you think Ryan was better versus you than against?
Yeah, for sure, because he had to train. He didn't have to train for that.
For Haney, this wasn't just about clearing his record. It was about revenge. My main focus is Jose Ramirez, and then lining it back up with Ryan Garcia, Haney said, his tone measured and controlled. Whatever his punishment, that's what it was, and I looked to punish him in the ring. Bill Haney stood nearby, watching it all unfold. He had already made it clear he wasn't happy about waiting until October for the rematch. But now, seeing Garcia talk so freely, he looked even more irritated. Garcia's confidence was unshaken. Despite everything, the no contest ruling, the suspension, the lawsuit, he still talked like he was the clear winner. To him, the world saw what happened in the ring. He knocked Haney down 3 times, he dominated, and no commission ruling or lawsuit could erase that. Haney, though, was looking at things differently. He saw the rematch as a way to put all doubts to rest, to prove Garcia's win was tainted, to make sure the second fight left no room for debate.
Most eyes on you, the most to prove. What's your prediction? What's going to happen May 2nd?
With no belts. I put Rolly to sleep with a left hook. That's it. That's what you're going to see.
The crowd at the press conference was fully on Garcia's side. It was clear whose city this was. Garcia didn't seem to mind playing to the crowd. If anything, He thrived in it. Haney, meanwhile, stayed locked in, barely reacting to the jeers. The two continued exchanging words on stage, but it wasn't just about boxing anymore. It was personal, and neither of them was backing down. Haney wanted justice, Garcia wanted validation, and the war of words wasn't ending anytime soon. Even though Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are going back and forth with their heated words, they both have serious fights ahead before they can even think about their rematch.
Who we clearly know he didn't even try to. The only reason Ryan's in this position is because he has a bunch of followers.
These upcoming fights aren't just stepping stones. They actually mean a lot. If either one of them slips up, the entire narrative changes. For Ryan Garcia, facing Rolando Raleigh Romero on May 2nd isn't just about staying busy. It's about proving he's still sharp, still dominant, and still the same fighter who dropped Haney 3 times in their first meeting. It's about proving he's still sharp, still dominant, and still the same fighter who dropped Haney 3 times in their first meeting. If he loses to Raleigh, it's a disaster. It wouldn't just hurt his reputation. It would kill the hype for his rematch with Haney. Fans wouldn't be as excited to see them run it back if Garcia can't even get past Raleigh. A fighter who has been criticized for his sloppy style and questionable chin. Losing to Raleigh would make people wonder if Garcia was ever as good as he claimed to be.
Corruption at its finest. They couldn't take the loss. What's up, man? I know you see you. I don't want to touch that. I don't know what you're doing with your hands, buddy. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to look past Broly. Hey, that Oscar don't help.
The same goes for Haney and his fight against Jose Ramirez. Haney might be looking ahead to Garcia, but Ramirez isn't the type of fighter you overlook. He's tough, experienced, and has been in big fights before. If Haney loses to Ramirez, it changes everything. The undefeated aura is gone. The rematch with Garcia loses its shine. And worst of all, it would make Garcia's words sting even more, because how can Haney demand revenge when he just took an L before even getting back in the ring with Garcia? These fights are more than just warm-ups. They are must-win fights. Both Garcia and Haney need to take care of business first, or their rematch in October might not matter nearly as much as it does now. How do you think all this plays out? And who do you see winning the rematch? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.